This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeremy Wolf.
Well, hello, everyone. Friends, family, wonderful community. Welcome back to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Our guest today is, in fact, a resident of Cooper City. So he is, by definition, a good neighbor of the show here, and we are happy to have him on the show to tell us all about what he does. I'm here with Enrique Olivari. Enrique joins us from Enrique Olivari Photography. Enrique, good to see you, brother.
Hi, good to see you guys too.
Yes. Okay, so I think most people have a pretty good idea of what a photographer does. In fact, I think most people nowadays, with our cell phones, we all think we're professional photographers, right? So, but with all that said, though, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your business specifically, what types of photography, what types of services you provide, and then we'll get into like the backstory, how you got into this.
Okay, so what I do now, I'm a fashion portrait and headshot photographer.
Okay.
I also do commercial work. Not a lot of that. Most of my stuff is, I would say, most of it's in the fashion and the portrait work, headshots. It's starting to pick up now. I've only been here a year. Like I've only lived in South Florida for a year now. I'm really new here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Where are you from?
Originally from New York. During when they shut the world off, I moved to South Dakota, to Sioux Falls. I spent 3 years there. During that time, I had one company, the photography company. I was able to start another company, a media company, and we did well. It did really well, and I said, okay, it's time to leave the cold weather and go where it's warm.
Yeah, it's a welcome shift. I'm actually from New York originally. I moved down here, 30 plus years ago. What part of New York are you from?
Last place I lived was Astoria, New York.
Okay. Yeah.
I was in Astoria, so I raised on the Lower East Side. Long journey to make it here.
Now, have you been doing photography most of your professional career? What does your trajectory, your background look like?
Okay, so the first camera was a neighbor. I learned about photography through my neighbor's daughter's husband.
Okay.
He was a professional photographer. He's the first one who introduced me to it, showed me pictures, took us to a dark room, and I saw, like, while we took the pictures early, we developed them. After that, I was hooked. I bought my first professional camera in 1982. And I was in the service. And when I got to Japan, I was in the Marine Corps. When I got to Japan the first time, first thing I bought, 2 weeks later, I bought the professional camera. I knew what I wanted. I'd been reading about it. There was magazines back then. There was nothing online. So that's where it started, and I've always stayed with it. My other background, I'm retired from law enforcement. I did 20 years with New York City as a supervisory officer. I'm not going to say where I was, but I retired from there in 2005. And after that, I said, if I don't give myself a chance to do photography, I'm going to die unhappy. And I said, let me take a chance and take a deep dive. And so far, it's been great. It's more than I expected. Definitely more than I expected. I just feel blessed that I've been able to progress throughout the years the way I have. Especially in the last 4 or 5 years, I've really taken off. I've become definitely a name.
That's great to hear, man. So a year ago, you came down here to South Florida. What would you say has been one of the biggest challenges ever since you came down here to start up? And then on the other side of that, maybe the biggest reward, aside from being away from the cold?
I would say one of the big challenges was, here we go again. So you're in New York, you establish some type of a customer base, client base. So I go to South Dakota. So it took me a year before I could start anything out there. It was like that. I wouldn't say competitive. They don't have community like they do here and in New York. It was a little more cutthroat out there in the Midwest because there's not a lot of photographers. So everyone, but I guess I had been swimming with the sharks in New York for so many years. I come down here.
Oh, you?
I knew a lot of people, and I could say it was like a blessing. I ran into people that I knew from New York, and they say, hey, we want to work with you because we know you. You know, we worked you before a long time ago in New York. We know you. Then by perchance, I met a CEO of a media company who she took me on as a Florida features photographer for her company. And that's been that's like this big saving. That's been like the super blessing I've had.
Good stuff, man. So like I mentioned at the top of the show, nowadays with phones, everybody, thinks they're a professional photographer. I know my wife's pretty good at it. I'm not so good, but and you're doing a more niche area in photography with your business portraits, business headshots and things like that, right?
Right.
But do you find that's been a big obstacle for you in terms of bringing on new clients, that everybody thinks that they could do this stuff on their own? And if so, what are some other like myths and misconceptions that people typically have surrounding the photography business in this day and age?
I tell friends and close, anyone who's a friend or anyone who wants to buy a camera, I'm going on vacation, I want to buy a camera. I say, buy a hard drive, use your phone. Use your phone. And say, why? Because the pictures will come out. They'll be a lot better for you. They're processed already. It's the way the camera takes the pictures. You see them; they're fantastic. Stick with like if you're going on vacation, unless you're doing something really special, use your phone. It'll get the job done. It'll definitely get your job done. And it happens a lot. You have a small company, small startups. We're going to get our camera. Okay, by the time you get going, you're $5,000 in the hole on camera equipment, and no one knows how to use anything.
That's the trick.
That's what it is. No one. And the drawback on that is that you do have young guys who, they buy a camera, they want to be a photographer. They're not ready. They're not at that level, but they'll try to get into and it kind of hurts the business. What they'll do is they'll try like 1,000 photos for like $25. Like they'll try to charge you, oh, we're going to do 100 edit photos for this price. And when you look at it, you say, you're going to get what you pay for. And a lot of times what happens is, like, even recently it happened. I mean, I had to drive to Boca for a dental clinic. They went to the cheap guy for headshots. And the guy calls me and says, I spent this much money. And I said, okay, well, this is my price. There's no negotiating with it. It's not like you go to a restaurant and especially I use a restaurant a lot with this as an analogy. You don't go to a restaurant and try to haggle on the price of whatever you're ordering. So this is what you're going to get, and this is what I promise. And I can guarantee you're going to like my work, and you're going to see my work as it progresses, because I'll let you look at it. I'll tether it. Where as I take a shot, you'll see exactly what you're going to get. And I'll just touch it up a little bit, and I'll have it delivered. One of my biggest things I could deliver in 5 days. I've been doing this for a while. I've invested enough into the business, so I can deliver in 5 days, and that's usually my selling point when it comes to most of my work.
Yes, it's funny you said that about going to a restaurant and trying to negotiate. Like, there's certain things that you just don't do that for, and then there's other things that you're almost expected to, right? It's almost like common parlance. Like when you go get quotes for things, you're always trying to negotiate down. And like my goal, one of the things I love about the show, and one of the things I love about kind of what I do in the community, where I help prop up local businesses and support local building relationships, is that like I strive for relationships where I don't ever have to do that, right? Where I hire somebody to come in and I trust their judgment, I trust their professionalism.
Right.
And I don't want to put them in a position where it's like, oh, can you do any better on the price? Then you're taking away from, like hopefully they're giving you a good quote, right? And they're not padding it with fluff. And that's one of the problems, is that there's a lot of fly by night people in professions, and you never know who you're dealing with. But if you can deal with people that you know, like, and trust, people from the same community, like you live in Montana, we're all part of the same area. If I hired you to come out for photos, I would trust your judgment, and I wouldn't really question the price on it. That's just me.
It's
the older I get, the more I get like that. I just try to.
That like you don't want to. You don't want to go with, like, when it comes to like choosing someone, like I say, look around, like, the cheapest guy isn't the guy you want, because you're definitely going to get what you pay for.
Well, yeah, I mean, and anybody, back to the idea that everybody has a phone, everybody can take a photo, right? And everybody can take a very nice photo. Right. And in many cases, you'll look at it and it looks beautiful, but there's so many subtleties and nuances in photography. And especially I've learned a lot more ever since I started doing a podcast. Like, I started doing this, I wasn't even doing any kind of video. I started with audio, and then I was like, oh, I might as well record video with it. And I started trying to set up video and lighting and equipment. And there was a lot of moving parts there. And there's a lot of these little, again, subtleties and nuances that you don't really, maybe you couldn't necessarily pick out directly what it is between like an amateur photo and a professional photo, but something about it sings in a different way. And it just creates a different psychological perspective. So definitely a lot that goes into it. I know I work hands-on with photographers all the time. I put out a local publication, and I see all the work that goes into it, and I see the dedication and then the quality that comes on the other side of it. So it's really nice.
It's like I said, to choose the guy who's going to work for you. That's you'll know who it is. You want to feel that chemistry between you guys, especially. Like, I would say about 80% of my work is commercial work. Now, since I've been to Florida, I do a lot of work in Miami. I'm down in Miami about 3 times a week. Over here, I do a little stuff. I do a lot more portrait work, headshots, and that's slowly building up. I don't have my own studio. That's a drawback. I just haven't. Some of the prices here, I don't know what to say about it.
No, not as bad as New York. Come on.
No, I rented studio space in New York from a larger studio.
Yeah.
And at certain days a week where I would go down, and I could schedule everything. Over here, not so much. I'm still looking. I haven't found anything that I prefer to be like in this area here, which would be great for me.
It is a great area down here for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful.
So you mentioned a year, 1982. I was only 2 years old back then. I'm trying to place age wise. Do you have kids down here in Cooper City? I know a lot of people come to Cooper City specifically for the schools. It's such a great community. Do you have family down here?
No, we have. My wife has a lot of friends down here. She lived in Broward County, and she raised her kids for most of their lives down here. Then moved to New York. But she had a lot of friends, and that was a reason why we came down here. Whenever we would go on from South Dakota, we would come down to Fort Lauderdale. She said, she'd always have friends, and they were here, like a lot of support in making that decision. They said, I said, where do you want to go? She told me, she said, I can't do this cold anymore. And I said, you know what? You were crazy enough to follow me to South Dakota. Minus 54 degrees at days. Wherever you want to go, I'll follow you. I don't care. And I said, let's pick the place to live. And he says, you find it. I'll take care of the rest. Find the place. And so we came down. We had been coming down here a lot because of her friends. That's how we landed here. I mean, I wouldn't. It's a big change. I mean, we just had our license. It took almost a year to get our licenses changed over. Get used to the car insurance here. Those are the small little nuances that you have to deal with. Mm-hmm. But, electric bill, everything was a lot cheaper in the Midwest. But we're here now. So like I said, so I could think of this as I used to pay, but I don't do anymore. But moving down here was, it's definite. It's business-wise, it's really good also. I was surprised I was like surprised I was able to pick up that much like work privately. Usually commercial work is hard work to pick up. Commercial work it's pretty stable. I deal with certain companies, certain brands, or PR firms and a media company. So that usually helps me out.
Yeah, this is every time I go away now, whether it's to see my brother in New Jersey or I just went to LA for a graduation for my nephew, not recommended. But every time I go away and I come back and I fly into Fort Lauderdale Airport and I leave the airport and I see the beautiful weather, everything's so spacious, everything's so bright. I was like, I'm so happy to be here. And then I land home here in Cooper City. I got kids in school here. It's such a wonderful community. And I'm really happy to have had this opportunity to meet you, a neighbor from the community. How can our listeners learn more? Anybody out there that's listening to this that needs your services, what is the best way for them to connect with you? Maybe share your social media, website, contact information. What's the best way to reach you, brother?
I'm on Instagram. I use a lot more Instagram than TikTok. I tried TikTok, never worked for me. just happened. Like it's like really weird. Like
we'll let the younger generations keep that one.
Well, like I do a lot of social media on Instagram. I'm at Enrique Oli _photo on Instagram. My website is I guess www.eUOphoto.com. That would be my I guess my portfolio. And like Instagram would be the easiest way to connect with me.
All right, very cool. We'll, of course, drop a link in the description to all of your contact information so anybody that's interested can reach out. Enrique, thanks for joining us today, brother. It was nice getting to know you.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
To join into you guys.
Yeah, man. And thanks, as always, to our listeners for tuning in. We will catch everyone next time on the next episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Everyone take care and stay blessed.
Thanks for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast, Cooper City. To nominate your favorite local business to be featured on the show, go to gnpcoopercity.com. That's gnpcoopercity.com or call 954-231-3170.